Bangkok, synonymous with lively chaos, but Thailand's great metropolis is also a compelling experience for the senses, a fascinating city full of contrast. Poverty and wealth, urgency and tranquility, and a journey on the tuk-tuk is a real adventure. We begin our sightseeing tour early in the morning, about 100 kilometers southwest of the city centre, at the floating market of Dam Noen Saduak. Here men and women travel on the canals by sampan amid a fertile landscape. And beneath each straw hat there's usually a smiling face. Fruit, vegetables, flowers and all manner of goods are available here. Many of the boats have a kitchen in which fresh food is prepared to satisfy hearty appetites. A colourful event that is also very popular with visiting tourists. In the light of early morning, the scene is particularly captivating. A little later, the entire place becomes crowded as more and more sightseers arrive from the city. Popularity has its drawbacks. The only thing left is to join the crowd and hire a boat, armed with an experienced tour guide. And now the floating market really comes to life. Back in the city, we visit some of its most important sites, such as the Wat Phra Keo, the Temple of the Emerald Buddha, the most important place of worship for the Thai people. Bangkok's most important landmark is also its most beautiful temple complex, a wonderful work of art comprising golden chedis and numerous resplendent buildings. Monks never inhabited this magnificent monastery complex because its sacred halls were used solely for Buddhist ceremonies by the reigning monarch. Built in 1782, the Wat is richly decorated with golden figures, colourful mosaics, wall paintings and various other splendid ornaments. The Golden Temple is supported by several demons, with a variety of bird people and temple guards, splendour, gold and a fairy tale scene wherever one turns. To honour Buddha, the faithful travel here from far and wide. Today, the Royal Grand Palace is used for national ceremonies and coronations. During the city's early years, it was originally built as a residence for King Rama. magnificent residence of the former god-king shines out in all the typical splendour and elegance of the Far East. A Siamese heaven on earth. Former General Phraya Chakri subsequently became King Rama I of the Chakri dynasty that still continues to rule to the present day. Wat Suthat is an impressive sight. No less than 3 monarchs supervised its construction. Among the figures, there are also European seamen and soldiers, whose frightening presence was designed to deter demons. Rama I began the planning and early construction of the temple. Rama II continued the process, and finally Rama III supervised its completion. In the centre of the complex is the Vihan, a building that is open on all sides and in which ancient relics are stored. The colourful shining roofs with their richly adorned gables are typical of the architecture of Thailand's religious buildings. A passageway and courtyard contain a line of golden Buddha statues. The National Museum is contained within various historical buildings of Thai design that once served as the residence for the second king, who was the brother of the current ruler. Huge stone cockerel warriors guard the temple complex and also the valuable exhibits. A considerable collection of works of art and ancient reproductions that date back to the Thai Bronze Age that is also known as the Bangkok period. Wat Pho, the temple of the Prone Buddha. It contains a huge gilded Buddha statue that is housed in a large temple complex next to the palace. Dating back to the 16th century and the reign of King Rama, this Wat is Bangkok's oldest temple and took 12 years to build. A total of 95 pagodas and decorative chetties, plus more than 1,000 Buddha figures, act as a magnet to hordes of tourists and Buddhists alike. Figures from the classic Ramkien epoch stand within courtyards decorated with lotus flowers that commemorate and glorify the first 4 kings of the Chakri dynasty. Around 160 years ago, a medical school was founded in the Wat Pho and traditional Thai massage is still carried out here today. Surrounded by gilded figures of Buddha, those who come here are able to learn about the art of massage. And the doctors provide the information free of charge. Since its inauguration, this monastery complex has been tantamount to a public university designed to provide non-academics with an insight into literature, archaeology and medicine. Bangkok has a famous river. The Chao Phraya has always been considered to be this royal city's river of life, its main waterway. After a short drive on an 8-metre long-tailed boat, we leave the city behind. It's a marvellous experience. Magical too. Exotic scenes of a living fairy tale world, the Venice of the East, whose special allure continues to fascinate all who come here. Best approached from the river, Wat Arun is another well-known city landmark. A splendid temple on the banks of the Chao Phraya. For centuries, those who have come here have been fascinated by its beauty and special location on the banks of the huge river. Its mighty silhouette is a memorable sight. As King Taksin rode on the river one morning, he gave Wat its present name, the Temple of Aurora, Wat Arun. The temple's central tower rises 86 metres above a 3-step terrace. It symbolises the holy mountain of Meru. The lower section of the main tower contains artistic reliefs of various stages of Buddha's life: birth, enlightenment and nirvana. The large tower is surrounded by 4 smaller towers. Its decorative external facade contains thousands of broken ceramic plates. The temple existed prior to the foundation of Bangkok. Its present-day appearance came later. An extraordinary architectural masterpiece was created here. Its wooden supports were not, as was customary, dug into the ground, but instead were placed one above the other and then secured with a kind of cement, a masterly construction. In the 19th century, Bangkok contained several canals, known as klongs. Most of them have subsequently been replaced with streets, but a few have survived. Travelling on the canals is a wonderful way to take in the sights. For centuries, life on the city's waterways has changed very little. There's a profusion of tropical plants and wooden dwellings. The people who live here have grown accustomed to living each day by what is the equivalent of an open sewer. Every now and then, tourist boats arrive and the fish are treated to a tasty snack. Suddenly, the dirty water is transformed into a kaleidoscope of fish. The narrow canals contain many boats and sightseers. The scene is of fishing nets and temples. The watery streets of Bangkok are still very much alive. The Royal Barge Museum is located on the riverbank. The country's royal ships lie at anchor here. Beautifully crafted, they exemplify the royal lifestyle. The royal boats are used only for the most important ceremonies of the royal household. They have a long tradition. Splendid figureheads adorn the bow of each boat, such as Naga snakes, dragons, Garuda figures, and other magnificent legendary characters. The Wat Trimit Temple is situated in Chinatown and would probably have created little interest if a magnificent discovery had not been made there. "3 meters high and weighing more than 5 tons, a Buddha made of pure gold. To hide it from would-be robbers, it was once covered with plaster by a priest. The environs of Bangkok contain numerous attractions. The Rose Garden is well worth a visit. Ponds, bridges, and beautiful rose gardens. The garden is tended by a large workforce. At weekends, it's full of city folk who come here to relax. The fully restored pavilions by the ponds are open to the public, and there are many intriguing water features. The adjoining replica of a Thai village is the garden's biggest attraction. At the entrance to the village, visitors are treated to an elephant performance. Here it's possible to watch skillful artists at work painting parasols, a traditional craft of this region. There's also a fascinating demonstration in the art of silk making and spinning. Women sit at weavers' looms and produce a local product that is world famous. Wonderful silk with magnificent colours and splendid patterns. The highlight is the cultural show, a performance of various traditional dances that begins with a review-like parade with each member of the cast. Drummers demonstrate their strength. Elegant Thai girls wear magnificent costumes and perform traditional dances. Sword-wielding warriors perform acrobatics. Each ceremony is accompanied by female dancers. And a Thai boxing contest demonstrates the skill and strength of its exponents. The bamboo dance is quite spectacular, and it's difficult to believe that each jump doesn't turn to disaster. An ancient wedding ceremony completes the stunning display. Returning to Bangkok, next there's a visit to the Wat Saket temple. Steep steps lead past prayer niches and several rows of bells. To the temple. "318 steps lead up to the Golden Mountain. The Golden Mountain is an artificial hill from where there's a wonderful view across the old town and its skyline. The 87-metre-high mountain is crowned by a golden chedi that contains an assortment of Buddhist relics. It is constantly guarded by young monks. It once fell into disrepair, but has now been fully restored. For its foundations, more than 1,000 teak tree trunks were used. The City of Angels is a place of the superlative that uniquely unites both historical and contemporary times. A city of many faces. Bangkok is a typical Asian city. Exotic hustle and bustle, excitement, a city that never sleeps.